What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Price Podcast, the chaos of this week. Now, I'm your host, obviously, Jonathon Pryce here, coming at you from Loganville, Georgia. And today, we have some chaos that's really gone global. Right? It's Saturday, March 21st, 2026. And this week has been absolute mayhem. We're talking a war that's reshaping the planet, historic floods drowning paradise, airport lines that feel endless, mystery drones buzzing. Sorry. Mystery drones buzzing our nuclear bases and energy prices making every drive feel like a hurry. And pollen. I know, not a whole thing, but yeah, pollen's here. Early March. Right? Nope. Late March. But I'll tell you, it's not fun. I'm already feeling it right now. So you're gonna hear me sniffling a lot. Have my water right here, so I'll be drinking this as well. So yeah. Got a lot going on this week. But if you are new here, this is where we go deep. No fluff, multiple angles, real context, edge cases, and what actually matters for you and me. Hit that like button if you're ready for the breakdown. Subscribe if you haven't already, or if you're new, and drop a comment down below in the chat. What is one story stressing you out the most this week? The Iran war, gas prices, the Hawaii floods, Chuck Norris's death. Let's go ahead and let's dive in. Yeah, I'm telling you guys. Pollen is my worst enemy. That's weird. Pollen is my worst enemy. And it's not fun. Definitely not fun. But let's get into it. All right, guys. Buckle up because we have to lead with the elephant in the room, and I'm pretty sure you guys know what it is. We are now in week 4 of what history is already calling the 2026 Iran War, officially launched under Operation Epic Fury. This isn't some distant headline you scroll past while grabbing coffee. This is actively reshaping the entire world economy, redrawing alliances, spiking your grocery and gas bills, and forcing every single one of us to rethink our daily life in 2026. Let me give you the quick but complete recap so everybody's on the same page, whether you've been glued to the news or you're just catching up. It all kicked off late February the 28th with a coordinated surprise strike by U.S. and Israeli forces. We're talking precision airstrikes that took out key nuclear sites, missile bases, and yes, the reported assassination of the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, himself in the opening hours. Just like how we did with Maduro. Instead, we didn't take him out, we caught him and brought him over to the U.S. to stand trial. Yeah. The single move changed everything. Iran's been under new leadership ever since. You have Machaba Kimani that has stepped in, but reports say he's struggling to maintain full control amid the chaos. He might also be dead. Just saying, he might also be dead. Who knows? They say he's in a coma. Who knows? We will have to see. But yeah, fast forward to right now, March 2021. The numbers are staggering. CENTCOM is confirming over 8,000 military and command targets hit so far. Independent counts from analysts and satellite imagery put the total closer to 12,000 to 15,000 when you include industrial zones, energy infrastructure, and underground facilities. Iran's navy basically gone, or as someone from the Pentagon will put it yesterday, functionally defeated. The entire service fleet is either at the bottom of the Gulf or hiding in ports that no longer have working defenses. Air defenses flatlined. Ballistic missile production lines crippled for years, according to the U.S. intelligence. But here's the thing, and this is why this story is so addictive and terrifying at the same time. Really crazy. Iran is not folding quietly. They've struck back and creatively. Just this week, we saw ballistic missile attacks on the joint US UK base at Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. Some missiles got through, some were intercepted, but the message was loud and clear: we can reach you. Terrifying. Very terrifying. They've also hit Saudi Arabia, and Kuwaiti refineries again. In Tehran, Iran's capital city, is now openly threatening to expand crisis to civilian tourist sites across the region if pressure keeps up. The Strait of Hormuz, that narrow choke point that moves 20% of the world's oil every single day, remains a complete nightmare. Now I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. So here, we have Iran right here. Oh, yep, Iran right here. Saudi Arabia right here. And some other countries. Oh, Pakistan over there, Iraq, Afghanistan. Yeah, anyway. Strait of Hormuz is right here. This little strait right here leads from the Persian Gulf. It leads out to the Arabian Sea and, was able to get to its places. So Iran has effectively made this area right here into a whole, how do I say this? Nightmare. Yeah, let's continue with that. It's a whole nightmare over there. This little part right here. Right here. A lot of people are not liking it, which means gas prices have gone up, unfortunately. Mines have been deployed. Fewer than doomsday predictions, but still enough to terrify insurers. So if you have some insurance, good luck. Right. Shipping attacks are up. Tankers are rerouting around Africa, adding weeks and millions in costs. And the markets are feeling it instantly. Brent crude spiked to $119 a barrel at its peak last week before settling around 107 to 113 as the US released some strategic reserves and temporarily lifted sanctions on a few Iranian tankers to prevent total meltdown. Translation for your wallet. U.S. gas prices are through the roof in many states. Here in Georgia, you've seen it at $5, $5 to $6, but it's been even higher at some other spots. California is $8, which is crazy, but California is a different thing. I think, from what I hear, it's because of their taxes. They've taxed a whole bunch on the oil, and yeah, $8 a gallon. It's still crazy. So California fixes stuff because honestly, I don't think it should be that high. Even with everything here, even here in Atlanta, it's like at the highest that I have seen. Really, I don't really visit Midtown a lot, but driving to Buckhead, going through North Druid, I've seen it close to like $4 a gallon. Here in Loganville, it's hovering around like, I would say like 350, 370. Yeah, 350, 370, which is not bad, honestly. A lot is taking a lot out of my wallet, which doesn't really, which sure sucks. But some spots are definitely a lot worse. So thank God for where I'm at, and yeah. How's that hitting your drive to work? For me, it is crazy. It's wild, really crazy. Almost, no, not even double. But yeah, to get a full tank, whew, man, that's wild. How is it affecting your family road trip plans? or the price of everything shipped by truck? Drop it in the chat right now. I'm reading these things live. Got my chats up right here, reading them live. All right. So the multiple angles. Here are the multiple angles. Mostly because one side of the news is boring, but I want to give you guys the full picture. All right, we're gonna break it down properly so that way you can see it. On the military side, President Trump went on record yesterday saying that the U.S. is very, very close to achieving its core objectives and could start winding down without full-scale ground invasion. Yet, the Pentagon just confirmed another 2,200 Marines are deploying. Sorry. Another 2,200 Marines are deploying to the Middle East as a precaution. CENTCOM is bragging about the longest sustained field artillery strike in U.S. Army history. That's how intense the last 10 days have been. Options still on the table. Options still on the table include limited boots on the ground missions to secure key ports and islands that are inside the straits itself. Edge case to watch: if Iran somehow manages to fully close the straits even for a week or two, we're looking at a tanker war redux, straight out of the 1980s. Convoys, naval escorts, skyrocketing insurance rates, and potential global recession. Trump has already floated the idea of U.S. Navy protection for commercial ships, but let's see how far he's willing to go. The economic and human cost. We're already talking tens of billions spent on the U.S. alone, and that number climbs daily. American losses: at least 13 service members confirmed, including several in tragic refueling plane crashes over Iraq and direct combat incidents. On the Iranian side, the civilian toll is heartbreaking and hard to pin down. Infrastructure in Tehran, Isfahan, and Bandar Abbas, Bandar Abbas is devastated. Schools and homes have been hit in collateral strikes. Early radiation fears around nuclear sites were quickly debunked by the IAEA, but the fear itself is causing panic evacuations. Polls are brutal. A CNN survey earlier this week showed 59% of Americans disapprove on how the operation has been handled. The implications: inflation is spiking again, supply chains are wobbling, especially around petrochemical, and this is pouring gasoline on the midterm political fire. Midterm candidates are already positioning themselves as war hawks or bring them home voices. The geopolitical nuances: this isn't just America versus Iran in a vacuum. Trump publicly called out NATO allies as cowards for refusing to help secure the strait. That's going to have long term alliance damage. Israel continues trading blows with Hezbollah in Lebanon and has conducted its own deep strikes inside Iran. Sorry, I'm telling you guys, these allergies, bro, don't mess around. Every year it's like this. It sucks. Let me know if you guys have allergies like this. Terrible. The the Houthis in Yemen have been strangely quiet. Analysts credit the prior ceasefire Trump negotiated last year, but everyone's waiting for them to jump back in. China is loudly calling for immediate de-escalation while quietly positioning itself to scoop up discounted Iranian oil and long-term energy deals. Russia is mostly watching and supplying drones. Big what ifs for the summer. What happens if this drags on into June or July? Could we see new proxy fronts open in Syria and or Iraq? Has Iran's nuclear program actively been set back for 5 to 10 years? Or is this chaos accelerating their efforts to go underground and build faster? Every expert I've read is still split on that one. We'll see what happens. we will see what happens. Now, that is the full, unfiltered picture. Like I said, some people are saying that the gas prices is at 4.89 near Atlanta. Others worry for family in the military. Some asking if this is the start of World War III. I will say it's not yet, but the escalation ladder is real, and one miscalculation could change that overnight. So, as we continue to look at this, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But that's the full unfiltered picture on the Iran war right now. It's not ending tomorrow, but the next 7 to 10 days could decide if we de escalate or double down. We'll keep tracking of every development live. All right, we'll keep track of it next week. We'll do another follow up if this thing's going on or not. I already know. if it ends, then yes, we'll talk about it. And if it's still going on, we'll still keep talking about it. But yeah. But we will see what happens as we keep going on. All right, let's take a break from the Persian Gulf for a minute. Because here's the crazy part nobody wants to say out loud. The world doesn't stop spinning just because we're dropping bombs halfway around the globe. While everybody's eyes are glued to the Iran war and $6 gas prices, serious chaos is unfolding right here at home. We're talking historic weather disasters, travel meltdowns, and national security scares that prove America still has plenty of its own problems, even in the middle of a major international conflict. Let's start with the one that's hitting the hardest emotionally: historic flooding in Hawaii. Ohio just got absolutely hammered by the second Kona low storm system in the last 10 days. For those who don't know, a Kona low is a Kona, sorry. Kona low is the slow moving subtropical storm that parks itself over the islands, just dumps rain like a fire hose. Meteorologists are calling it record breaking. Some spots on the North Shore picked up over 19 inches of rain in 24 hours. That's literally 2 to 3 months worth in a single day. Streets turning into raging rivers. Cars were completely submerged. Emergency crews have been already performed over 230 rescues, and thousands of families have been forced out of their homes. But here's the part that's keeping people up at night. The Wahayama Dam, a 120-year-old structure right in the middle of the island, is now at serious risk of failing. Emergency officials issued blunt leave now evacuations orders for the North Shore communities of Waialua and Haliwa. I don't know if I'm saying these words right. I do apologize. Telling over 4,000 residents to get out immediately. They even put out that chilling warning. If you're in a flood zone, do not go into your attic unless you have roof access. That tells you how catastrophic a breach could be. Entire neighborhoods downstream could be underwater in minutes. And just to show how wild climate whiplash in 2026, while Hawaii is literally drowning, the West Coast is bracing for a dangerous heat wave and heat dome setup next week. Some same week, opposite extremes. This climate is changing. This climate change is playing out in real time. Now, if climate change is real, we'll see. But the bigger picture hits Hawaii's economy hard too. Tourism, the lifeblood of those islands, is taking a massive hit right now when spring break should be packing the hotels. Flights canceled, beaches closed, infrastructure already strained, and here's the nuance a lot of people are whispering about. With so many National Guard units and emergency resources pulled toward the Middle East of the Iran operation, locals are legitimately asking if help is arriving fast enough. Edge case to watch: if that dam actually breaches, we're talking potential loss of life and billions in damage that could stretch federal disaster funds even thinner. If you guys have any family or friends in Hawaii right now, or you were supposed to fly out there for a spring break, drop a quick update in the chat. We are all praying for everybody in those flood zones. So I'm going to challenge you guys tonight, before you go to bed, just pray for these guys. Pray for everybody that is losing their homes. Pray for everybody in Hawaii that's really going through all of this. Pray that that dam does not break or get breached. Now I know there will be some damages, but at least let it be fixable. That's all I can say. Just let it be fixable. Next up are some airport nightmares that are turning spring break into a full-on nightmare for travelers. TSA lines at major hubs are stretching out of the terminals into the parking garages. We're talking 2 to 3 hour security waits at places like Atlanta, LAX, Houston, Philadelphia, and Newark. The perfect storm: record spring break crowds colliding with a partial government shutdown and DHS funding deadlock that's left TSA agents working without full pay for over a month now. Burnout is real. A lot of officers are calling out sick or just saying enough. Add in higher fuel prices from the Iran conflict, causing more delays and cancellations, and travel right now just feels cursed. Me and my buddies supposed to be going out, traveling soon. We're thinking about flying. Um, might have to tell them we gonna have to drive. We'll see what happens. We've also seen multiple scary near miss incidents on the runways lately, including one at Newark that's got an aviation expert sounding serious alarms. If you're flying anyway in the next couple of weeks, my advice, from experience: show up rigorously early, pack snacks, and maybe have a backup plan. I already told, like I said, my backup plan, yo, guys, we're gonna have to drive down there. Implications: families rethinking vacations, business travel grinding to a halt, and another hit to an already shaky economy. And finally, the story that should honestly have every American a little more awake at night. Mystery drone swarms over critical U.S. military bases for nearly a week straight, from March 9th to the 15th. Coordinated groups of 12 to 15 high tech drones have been buzzing Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana. For context, Barksdale isn't just any base, it's home to our nuclear capable B 52 bombers and serves as headquarters for Air Force Global Strike Command. These drones weren't hobby toys. They're not. They were using non-commercial signals, flying sophisticated patterns right over the flight line, and get this, resisting to jamming attempts. We're talking about military grade right here. The base actually had to shut down flight operations multiple times. Officials are calling it a significant threat to public safety and national security. There have also been separate sightings over Fort McNair in Washington, D.C., right near top administration officials live, right where top administration officials live. The timing, smack in the middle of the Iran war, has everybody asking some questions. Are these Iranian proxies gathering intel or testing our defenses? China or Russia probing for weaknesses? Domestic groups? Or something we haven't even thought of yet? Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this. Edge case that keeps experts up at night. What if this is a dry run for something bigger? In a wartime environment, base vulnerabilities like this could be exploited in ways we don't want to imagine. The Pentagon is staying tight-lipped, but they've quietly ramped up security at installations nationwide. Now, these three stories prove something important. Even with a major raging overseas, even with a major war raging overseas, life at home keeps throwing punches. The flooding shows how vulnerable our infrastructure and climate resilience really are. The airport mess shows how quickly everyday systems break down under pressure. And the drones, they're a stark reminder that threats don't wait for us to finish one crisis before starting another one. But that's been the domestic front this week. From drowning islands to endless TSA lines to mystery drones over our bomber bases, the chaos is everywhere. I mean, everywhere. Now we have some other quick hits for you guys. Legal. Musk jury finds misleading investors on Twitter or X, really. Breonna Taylor charges. Breonna Taylor charges have been dropped. Pentagon press restrictions unconstitutional journalism win. Entertainment. March Madness upsets rolling, guys. Now I have a buddy of mine who did this little bracket, and I said, okay, I'll entertain it. So I went on call sheet, did his bracket on there. I was like, okay, bro, I'm gonna put some money on this, okay? If that bracket don't come true, I'm gonna have to slap him outside the head. Trust me, it won't be pretty. It will not be pretty, especially if I am losing the money. Now, obviously, the payout is much bigger than how you would think, but yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys updated on that. But it's gonna be fun. It is going to be fun, especially if I win all that money. Now, I'm not gonna tell you guys to go gambling. This is something I actually don't ever do. But I was like, you know what? I had some little extra money. I was like, you know what? Here you go. I'll put some down. Might as well, right? Have some fun. BTS, they're coming back now. Honestly, I don't listen to all that type of music. I don't care for Korean music at all. Remember, I saw this on CNN, and I was like, why we have all this stuff happening, and yet you guys want to talk about this? Okay, that's crazy. But anywho, it is what it is. If you guys are into BTS, there's news that they are coming back. Don't know what happened to them. Don't really care, honestly. I listen to all Christian music, Christian worship music, Christian rap music. It's just Christian music all around. And if not, I'm listening to a podcast like Louder from Crowder, Timcast IRL. I don't watch Tucker Carlson. I'm not watching Candace Owens. Don't watch Daily Wire. I watch a little bit of Michael Knowles here and there. But yeah, I know down in the comments. Are you guys excited that BTS is coming back? What is their top single? The top album? I don't know. Never mind. Forget it. But on a very sad note, Chuck Norris passed away at 86. Man. And I've already seen the TikToks, already seen everything. The man was a legend. Complete legend. Even though I when I was born, I don't know if he was still doing any movies or not. But he was 60 years old when I was born. He might have been, who knows. But Chuck Norris's passes. That man was a legend, okay? He was a legend. I've seen a few of his stuff, especially Park Ranger Walker Ranger. I don't know how you say that, but it's just some show that gets aired on what's that channel called? My grandparents watch it all the time. Oh, I can't remember what it's called, but I've seen some of his shows, especially being over to my grandparents' house. It is sad. He's been a legend. I remember all the memes about him even when I was in high school. Didn't even know him, didn't even see of him or watch any of his shows. I was still saying those memes about Chuck Norris. If it is what it is, it was kind of fun though, really fun. But a legend has passed away. A lot of people are not happy about that. They are definitely do. They definitely do feel it, but we've got this. The man was definitely a legend. I'll tell you that much. He could whoop everybody's behind. Anywho, war overshadows, but domestic climate and security remind us chaos is multifaceted, and we don't know when it'll come next. But guys, we have covered the war front, the domestic disasters, the travel hell, the mystery drones. Now let's zoom out for the big picture. Because this week isn't just a bunch of separate headlines, it's interconnected chaos on a level we haven't seen in decades. Everything is feeding into everything else, and the ripple effects are hitting us right here in Georgia and everywhere else. We'll start with the Iran war. Operation Epic Fury now entering its fourth week. It's going to be a little summary. I'm going to give you guys um, just a quick update on, or not, sorry, not update, but just synopsis, a summary up about all this stuff, right? So, Epic Operation Epic Fury now entering its fourth week. The U.S. and Israel have struck over 8,000 military targets, degraded Iran's navy to functionally defeated, flattened air defenses, crippled missile production, and even hit deep into energy infrastructure like the South Pars gas field and Ashela processing hubs. Iran retaliating with missiles on Diego Garcia, strikes on Saudi and Kuwaiti refineries, and threats to tourist sites. But the real global pain point, the Strait of Hormuz. Shipping is severely disrupted. Not fully closed yet, but tanker traffic is way down. Insurance premiums are insane, and rerouting around Africa is adding weeks and millions in costs. Brent crude is hovering around 110 to $112 per barrel right now, up from pre-war levels, with some regional benchmarks spiking even higher. That drives the energy crisis straight into our wallets. Gas pricing spiking, inflation ticking up again, and everything shipped by truck getting more expensive. You feel it at the pump, at the grocery store, and in your utility bill. A chain reaction: war, energy crisis, wallet hits, domestic discontent. Polls already show majority disapproval of how operations being handled. Midterms are looming and candidates are scrambling. Some positioning as end the war now, others as finish the job. For me personally, finish what you got started. That is how it is. Finish what you started and get it done. And I'm not just talking about the war. I'm also talking about like in personal life. If you want to find success, finish what you started. We started the job. Let's finish the job. Let's go ahead and get that done and out of the way. That's for me personally. But I will say, anybody on the right, conservative, Republican, if you are thinking of not voting or voting for Democrat, you are stupid. Completely stupid. That is the dumbest move that you can make. Go out and vote. Make sure you vote Republican, obviously. But vote for somebody who will to go and back you up on the principles and the values and the policies that you want to get covered. 100%. But don't vote. Go out, vote. Because you voting, don't forget the last 4 years. And with all this happening, we were in what, 8 wars the last 4 years with Biden. Trump got us out, and now we're in a new one. Um, don't don't stop voting. But you go out, vote, because if the Democrats get power, You hear this a lot from a lot of independent sources. If the Democrats get power again, we are completely screwed. The last 4 years will be a repeat, and we don't need that. But yes, that discontent strains alliances too. Trump just called out NATO as cowards for not stepping up to help secure the straits, which honestly they really are. Like, guys, this is in your backyard. This is your backyard, and you just guys are just gonna let it happen. As gas prices keep going up and up and up and up and up and up and up, you guys are just gonna let this stay going on. NATO, what is the point? Like for real, what is the point? If you're not gonna do anything about this, what is the point of having NATO? Stupid. They are cowards, 100%. European nations and Japan are talking about joining patrols, but it's tense. Gulf allies like UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia are cooperating more, but they're getting hit too. China quietly positioning for discontinued Iranian oil deals while calling for de escalation. Russia supplying drones. The whole geopolitical map is redrawn in real time. Now flip to Hawaii. Catastrophic flooding from back to back Kona lows. Over 9 inches of rain in spots. 230 plus rescues. Streets like rivers, cars underwater. The Huano Dam, 120 years old, has an immediate risk of failure earlier today. Evacuation orders at Hualua and Haliua, sorry if I'm mispronouncing these, affecting thousands, with officials warning life-threatening flooding if it breaches. As the latest updates, water levels are trending slightly down, around 82 to 85 feet. The crest at 88. And the owner says it's holding structurally for now, but more rain is coming through the weekend. We're not out of the woods yet. The nuance: nature doesn't care about geopolitics while the world focuses on Iran. Hawaii's emergency resources are stretched. National Guard units partially deployed abroad. Tourism allegedly, already fragile, taking another hit. Infrastructure vulnerabilities exposed. The edge case: if the dam had failed, we're talking catastrophic downstream flooding, potential loss of life in the thousands and billions in damage that would compete for federal funds already pouring into the war effort. Then the mystery drones swarm over Barksville AFB, home to 52 and Nuclear Command. Multiple waves of 12 to 15 high-tech drones from March 9th to the 15th, resistant to jamming, non-commercial signals, forcing flight line shutdowns. Similar sightings at Fort McNair. Officials calling it a significant threat to public safety and national security. Who? Iran proxies testing intel gathering during the war. Foreign powers, China and Russia probing our weaknesses. Domestic actors. No confirmation yet, but the timing screams opportunism. Implication: in wartime, vulnerabilities multiply. If these are prones, it raises scary questions about base defenses when resources are stretched thin overseas. Big what if edge cases we're all watching. Ground troops. Trump says no full invasion yet, but limited boots to secure strait ports islands are still on the table. If that happens, casualties climb, costs explode, public backlash intensifies. Full Hormuz closure, even a week or two could trigger a tanker war 2.0. Global recession risk skyrockets. Drone attacks escalate. What if they shift from surveillance to something kinetic or inspire copycats? De escalation pivot. Trump signaled today we're very close to objectives and could wind down without full Hormuz reopening or massive ground ops. We're pressuring allies to handle straight security. We don't use it. If Iran backs off, unlikely for right now, they're still firing back. We could see uneasy peace. Or one miscalculation, another Diego Garcia strike, major refinery hit, sends it the other way. We will go into full blown war at that point. For everyday folks like you and me, prepare for sustained higher cost. Gases gas, groceries, shipping delays. Watch travel advisories closely. Airports are already chaos. Stay informed beyond the headlines. Cross check sources because narratives are polarized. Stock up on essentials if you're in a vulnerable spot, either in a floodstone or high gas areas, and pray for our service members and civilians caught in this ceasefire. That's been this week's chaos. This week's show shows how fragile everything is when war, weather, and wire threats collide. But we're tracking it all here on the Price Podcast. Stay sharp, stay informed, and we'll pick it up next week with whatever fresh chaos hits or continued. This has been this has been chaos this week. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for hanging in live. Smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, share this if this hits home. Next week, if peace holds or escalates, we'll see what happens. But I am Jonathan. Stay sharp in 2026. And don't forget, seek the kingdom first. God bless everybody. Peace. Or as much as we could get. See you guys in the next one.